Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll learn to become a better, more business-savvy designer so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Grotzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I'm talking about 11 ways to keep clients coming back. Stick around to learn some easy things that you can do that will make for a good working experience, build trust with clients, and help you get more work from them. The reason I'm doing an episode on this is because it is always easier to get more work from existing clients than it is to get new work from new clients. And that's because it's a bigger risk for new clients. According to the book Marketing Metrics, businesses have a 60 to 70% chance of selling to an existing customer. Now, on the flip side, the probability of selling to a new prospect is only 5 to 20%. And according to Harvard Business Review, getting a new client can be 5 to 25 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. Plus, once you get a client, it doesn't mean that you'll keep that client. Just like any relationship, you have to nurture it. So here are 11 ways to keep clients coming back. And the first one is be proactive. Now, this can really help set the tone for the relationship. You want to let clients know what to expect and when. And what this does is it puts you in the expert position instead of the order taker position. So you want to lead the process as opposed to just reacting to it. One way to be proactive is to not ghost the client after getting the work. Then the client's left wondering what the designer's doing. Are they working on my project? Have they started it yet? Or they might be wondering if the designer just took their money and ran. And that's not good because then they might be left second guessing their decision to work with you. And let me tell you, clients will remember how you made them feel, so don't put them in a position where they could feel negatively about you. It's also important to be proactive throughout the process. So if a client owes you content, for example, you want to remind them about it. They get busy with their own tasks and they might forget. So you need to proactively manage the project. The other thing is to think about the entire relationship, not just a single project, and to continue to keep in touch after that project is finished. Most graphic designers see client projects as transactional one-off projects instead of seeing them as a long-term relationship. But I cannot tell you how many times clients have come back to me over the years, and sometimes it will be many years later. Sometimes what I thought would be a one-time project turns into multiple projects for that same client afterwards. The second thing you want to do is respond promptly. Now, it's important to reply to clients promptly, but I don't mean drop what you're doing every time they call or email you. That's not productive when you're in the middle of working on something, and I don't think they'd appreciate you doing that when other people call you when you're working on their jobs. But you just don't want to leave them hanging for days at a time. And actually, so many designers do that, and it can drive clients crazy. They get irritated, and then they start to lose trust in you, and they may not work with you again because of it. Another thing you can do is to listen to your clients. And by that, I don't mean just sit back and be an order taker, because I'd never say that. I mean to really listen to what your clients are saying when they tell you about their business or when they give you feedback. Remember what I said a moment ago about they will remember how you made them feel? Whether that's good or bad. Well, make them feel that their concerns were heard. Acknowledge those concerns and ask them why they feel a certain way. Make them feel that their design-related requests were heard, even if you don't agree with those requests. And then figure out what you can do to alleviate those concerns and their requests while still keeping in line with your expertise, right? So let's say a client wants you to make some text huge and bold and blue, but you think that would be a horrible idea. So ask them why. What's the reason for that request? They might say they want that text to just stand out more. Okay, great. You can say that you understand that request and you have a different but better way to accommodate it. And if needed, you can also explain why what they're asking is not a good idea, but that you will address it another way. Okay, number 4 is answer the darn phone. You know how irritating phone trees are and how difficult it can be to get someone on the phone when you need support for something? Remember that feeling. That's how a lot of clients feel when they just really need to talk to the designer, but they keep getting put off or forced to go back and forth with emails. And I know because I used to do this, and my clients would get frustrated, and I would get irritated with them and myself. I don't have time, I would say to myself. But the time spent going back and forth via email or text, if you're doing that, is much more than a quick phone call to resolve an issue. But phone time also gives you time to personally connect, which is really important with client relationships. I just had absolute belly laughs with one of my clients the other day about a really funny story she shared with me from her childhood. And I don't even know how we got on the topic of it because we started talking about publication schedules. But where my younger self may have seen a long conversation as an intrusion, I welcomed that interaction as an opportunity in getting to know my client better and maintaining the relationship because I really like working with them. Now, number 5 is deliver on time, and you want to always be sure to do this. Many graphic designers miss deadlines, and that frustrates clients. They may not work with you again. It can cost them time, and it actually can cost them money, especially when they're planning a launch around something. So you want to make sure that you're realistic about when you can deliver something and don't overpromise. If they're dictating a certain deadline and it will be hard for you to meet, you want to charge extra for that. But also politely let them know that if they're dropping the ball in the process, that's going to make it more difficult for you to get the job done. And that's good to have documented, like in your defense, in case it does get questioned why the project was late. This next one, again, is super easy. Say thank you. Send a thank you email or a thank you card in the mail, like after you meet with the client or after sending a proposal. Sending something in the mail makes you stand out even more because there is less competition in the mailbox. And most people don't do that anymore. Not only is a thank you a nice gesture, but it reminds them again of you. Like maybe you spoke to them and then you sent them a proposal. Those are 2 touch points. And then maybe again you send them a thank you card in the mail. And that's yet another. You can even include your business card if you have those. A lot of clients appreciate old school communication methods like that. But also sending them something tangible that they can have in their hand or right at their desk has another benefit because it also means that you're more likely to be top of mind. Think of that saying, out of sight, out of mind. The opposite is true too. Saying thank you could also mean a thank you gift at the end of a large project. That's a wonderful surprise after all the hard work you did together. And it leaves a really nice impression. This next point is to check your work. It's shocking to me how many graphic designers don't check their work. Now, I've been told repeatedly by many clients over the years that this is actually a huge reason why they keep coming back to me because they don't need to babysit, and that's what they call it. Sure, they still have some edits to make, but at least they aren't spending lots of time marking up proofs to say that some text was left out or an image wasn't cropped properly or whatever. I always check everything against what they send me before sending that first proof. And clients actually feel relieved when they don't have to feel like they're looking over your shoulder. I do a lot of large publication projects, and it used to take me many times longer to check the work than it actually did to lay it out in the first place. And that was until I started using Acrobat's Compare Files feature and Draftable to compare the content and the styling from their original files to my PDF proofs. So if you don't have an eagle eye for detail, I highly recommend it to find even the tiniest of issues at the character level or the style level. Another thing you can do is to always have your client's best interests in mind. Doing this shows that you care about their needs and about how your work actually helps them. Maybe you work on their website and you just discovered a new plugin that would be really useful to them, so you tell them about it. And then you can get more work out of that too. But maybe they have a need that you can't help them with. And that's okay because you may know someone you can partner with who provides that service. And if you're unable to help them, they will still appreciate a referral from someone that you trust. Asking for feedback after a project is done is another thing you can do. And what this does is it shows that you're interested in how the work did, the results of your work. But it's also a great way to get constructive feedback on how they think you worked together. You might learn something that you could improve on for the next project with them or for the next client. But you also might end up getting really great feedback where you can just say, hey, can I use that as a testimonial? Number 10 is staying in touch. And this is a really smart thing to do. And you can do this in several ways. You can schedule a call with them from time to time, like maybe every quarter or twice a year, and just check in and ask if their needs have changed or ask, how that website you built them has been helping them. You can also ask them if you can add them to your email list to stay in touch, and you can connect with them on LinkedIn. The reason for this is because staying in touch increases the chance of you being top of mind when they have a need in the future. Now, my final point is that you can show interest in the client. Now, this could be personally with your direct contacts. Like, for instance, I have a few client contacts who have dogs or that are involved in animal rescue, which is a huge passion of mine. So we talk about those things from time to time. You can also file the client organization on social media and like and comment on their posts. You can also email them to say that you like what they've been doing if their work is something that personally interests you. Okay, so those are 11 proven ways to keep clients coming back. But if you want to find out more ways that you can leave a positive impression and stand out from other designers, be sure to get my free guide, 17 Questions You Must Ask During a Design Consultation. Just go to creative-boost.com/questions.